Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to international football. Following confidence-building wins last week over Holland and Scotland, England bring their World Cup warm-up to the boil with a game against Finland today at the Olympic Stadium in Helsinki, the scene of the 1952 Olympic Games, and in which England beat Finland 4-1 in a World Cup qualifier just 6 years ago. And we're just 15 minutes away from live coverage of the entire game today. Now, one of the two changes from the side that beat Scotland gives West Ham's Alvin Martin an opportunity to stake his claim for the much-debated central defender position, despite a very capable performance by Terry Butcher of Ipswich at Hampden. A controversial selection maybe that will be considered in just a few moments by Ron Atkinson and John Bond, the two Manchester bosses who are important members of ITV's World Cup squad. Well, their thoughts, as I say, in just a few moments, but first to Helsinki, where Jim Rosenthal is talking to the man who filled that much-discussed central position in the 1966 World Cup triumph, Jack Charlton.
Jack, the big debate back in England is about the centre-half position. How do you see it?
Well, I don't really know. I'm a bit more puzzled myself after the way he's picked the team today with Alvin Martin in there. You know, I thought Butcher and Thompson played very well against Scotland, and I thought that would have stuck. The relationship between your back four and your goalkeeper is very important, and the more nearer you get to a game, which is important, they must be settled down and settled down quickly. And yet we still don't really know what his ideas are, or even in the squad of centre-halves, never mind what the final game against France will be. Tonight he's going to have a look at Alvin Martin, who is very much similar sort of a player to Butcher. You know, but Phil Thompson looks the one that is in there. It's the other position we've got to fill now.
How much of a genuine test do you feel this match will be for Alvin Martin?
I don't think it'll be a great deal of test at all. If you know about the game, and it's really a running test, because these people knock the ball in the run and they chase it. And the grass is very long and it'll slow the pace of the game down a little bit. So I don't think it's going to be much of a test for him, really. They're sort of a gathering of a lot of different players from all over the world, from Finland. And they don't really, you couldn't really call them a team as such. I saw them train this morning, and they've got one or two that are a little bit on the slow side, and one or two young lads who look as if they need a bit of experience. I think England will probably be too strong for them tonight. I hope they are, because we need a boost before we go. Going
back to the centre-half question, who would you take to Spain if you were England manager?
Well, it's a balance. I think Osman, I would take Osman, because I think he's the fastest of the centre-backs we got, quickest. And I think we need a balance of somebody out there with a bit of pace to handle. This is the one doubt I have about Alvin Martin. We saw him in his last international get exposed a couple of times to pace, and I think Big Butcher's probably got a little bit of that suspect as well.
So you would take Osman, Thompson and Butcher?
Yeah, and that gives you a little bit better balance. A big lad, one with experience who knows what the game's about, and Thompson, and somebody with a bit of pace like Osman. But that's not my job to pick the team. Ron will sort it out himself. But I wish he would do it a bit quicker than he's doing.
Thanks, Jack. Look forward to your comments on the game.
Well, Jack Charlton will be sharing the commentary box with Martin Tyler during the game. Now, two players who seem assured of first-choice places in England's opening game against France a week on Tuesday, that's the 16th of June at Bilbao, the skipper, Kevin Keegan, and West Ham's elegant schemer, Trevor Brooking, who has a close Finnish connection because his lovely wife, Hilke, originates from that country. Kevin and Trevor are both talking to Jim Rosenthal.
Well, Kevin Keegan, England captain, fit and raring to go. What do you feel the team wants from this last game before the World Cup?
Well, I think we're looking for a lot of things, obviously. Just another good, solid team performance will be a good start, and then hopefully to start sticking the chances away that we've created over the last few games. If we do both those things, I think we shall go to Spain in a very good frame of mind.
Trevor, you've been in right from the beginning, one or two rocky moments on the way, but how now do you assess the mood of the squad?
Well, I think all the squad is confident. As you say, we had ups and downs in qualifying, and perhaps a lot of people are pessimistic about our chances, but we've always been quietly confident, and the main thing was to go to the start of the tournament with a few wins under our belt, and hopefully if we can get a good one, as Kevin said tonight, and get 2 or 3 goals, it'd be nice to go to the start of the tournament in that frame of mind.
And this match, something of a family affair for you, if I can put it that way?
Yeah, I had to search from the lads for all the tickets. I think we've got about 20 was the last count. Hilke's over here and a lot of their family. I'm not sure who they're all supporting, but I know Hilke will be under a lot of pressure if we lose, so we've got to get a good result for her sake, I think.
Kevin, what sort of match are you expecting here tonight? It's a very much of a celebration occasion, isn't it, for the Finnish FA? What sort of match are you really expecting?
Well, I don't think we've got to get carried away by thinking it's going to be a sort of celebration. I mean, for us, it's a very important game. It's our last game before Spain. Obviously, if we can give them a good game and entertain as well, then it'll be very nice. But I think our main objective's got to be to see it as the last game before the Spain, and as Trevor said, another nice, confident, solid team performance, and hopefully score a few goals, which won't do us any harm at all.
The 22 is going to be named tomorrow afternoon. Is there going to be a slight doubt in some players' minds, for instance, about picking up an injury here that could be very dear?
Well, I think anyone who goes into a game thinking they're going to get injured, it usually end up getting injured. You've got to put that right out of your mind, just go into every tackle. In fact, it's when you go into tackles half-heartedly, you usually collect injuries. So hopefully not. Let's hope the boss has got a full squad of the 30 to choose his 22 from. And there's going to be 8 lads disappointed, but I'm sure the 8 that are left out will wish the other lads all the very best, and let's just hope we can go and make them proud of us too.
Trevor, the mood of the party talking to the lads now seems to be really good, and Ron Greenwood, who you know pretty well, seems to have just got the old pot boiling at about the right time.
Yeah, I think everyone is relaxed. We've been together, the last 2 or 3 weeks now, but we've been together as a squad quite a long time now. You get 1 or 2 fresh people come in, but generally the squad's been together, and what you try to do is create that club atmosphere, a lot of Mickey taking and leg pulling, which I think is part of that relaxed atmosphere, although when the game approaches, everyone knuckles down and realises we want to get a good result, and that's the nice blend that we've been looking for, really.
Well, lads, thanks very much for joining us. Enjoy the evening.
Hope so.
Pleasure.
I think I should explain the celebration they're discussing is the 75th year of the Finnish Football Association. Listening to all those interviews, the 2 experts tonight, Ron Atkinson and John Bond, there has been, Ron, a building confidence and conviction in the England side. Do you think it's justified?
I think so. I think nothing succeeds like success. They've won 5 on the trot since the Norway match, and if they win again tonight, that will put them in good heart to go out to Spain. And OK, people will say it's a comfortable game for them, but at this moment in time, I think it's all about winning, and I would expect them to win well tonight.
John, what do you think Ron's attitude of this game is going to be?
I think he'll want a good display from all the lads tonight. I think that's terribly important. I think the reason he's putting Alvin Martin in is because he knows who his centre-half is going to be in Spain, and I think now he's looking at who is going to be his standby if, for instance, Butcher gets injured, and I think he's having a look at Alvin Martin tonight, and if he puts on a good display, I think that he'll be the second choice. It was funny, you know, to listen to Jackie talking about Alvin Martin not having a lot of pace. I remember England winning the World Cup in '66, and Jackie and Bobby Moore played as centre-half and second centre-half, and neither of them had a lot of pace.
Were you as confused as Jack by Alvin Martin's selection, Ron?
Not particularly. I think that Butcher, by virtue of his performance against Scotland on Saturday, has clinched his place. I think now it's a toss-up now whether they take Martin or Foster as probably the second big centre-back. I would go along with Jack, and you know, for Osman. I'd take Osman with me for 2 reasons. Because as Jack said, he's quick and he's mobile. And also, you know, the fact that he plays with Butcher at club level. And they've played a fair amount of league matches together and also a fair amount of European games together. And I would think that if anything should happen to Phil Thompson, i.e. a loss of form or, heaven help us, an injury, then I think that he would be the ideal guy to step in with Butcher.
Right. John, there was one other selection change, and that, of course, is Clemence for Shilton. Did that surprise you?
Well, it didn't really, because I think that Shilton, again, is his first choice goalkeeper, and I think he's going to have a look at Ray and give him as many games as possible before the World Cup, because he had to play in the games with Tottenham, and so obviously he missed the run-up to these particular games. So I think it's important that he does get a game under his belt, just in case Peter Shilton does get injured before the World Cup.
Yeah, Ron, what do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think now Shilton will be the #1 choice in Spain. I mean, we dithered and dathered, and you know, it's a hard choice because they're both terrific keepers, but I think now that Shilton has emerged as probably the best keeper in the world, and he'll select him.
Another one thing that concerns you is the ability to score goals.
Yes, everyone's been levelling things against us over the past about we're not going to be good enough at the back. We've got a problem at central defence, and maybe our full-backs, or particularly the right-back position, has apparently been a bit of a problem. But I think our biggest problem out there, you know, is going to be scoring goals. You know, I would have said 3 weeks ago that there's no way that Trevor Francis shouldn't be in the side. I thought it was a logical thing, Francis and Keegan up front. But it did seem, looking at the Scottish game and maybe the Dutch game in the midweek, that Paul Mariner is vital to our chances. And I think that whoever plays alongside it, be it Keegan, which looks the likely pairing, or be it Francis, I think Mariner's going to be the key figure now.
Ron, John, we've a lot to look forward to. The players are now coming out onto that Olympic Stadium in Helsinki, so let us join our commentator Martin Tyler, who has, of course, Jack Charlton with him in that commentary box.
Thank you, Dickie, and welcome to Helsinki, where Finland is in its first official week of summer, and the weather's certainly living up to that billing. Temperatures into the high 70s, and very little darkness at night here at this time of year. The crowd around 20,000 expected as we get the national anthems. The England party arrived here yesterday evening. The players trained on the pitch this morning, and they found it very well grassed, but very firm as well. Finland include only 3 home-based players, Pekkanen, Turunen and Ismail. 5 of this side are professionals elsewhere in Scandinavia. Defender Aki Lahtinen has just completed his first season with Notts County. In midfield, Kai Haskinen is flown in from North America, where he plays for Edmonton Drillers. And Pasi Rautiainen is with Werder Bremen in the West German Bundesliga. Ron Greenwood has continued his experiments to the last, notably, as we've been saying, in the case of West Ham centre-half Alvin Martin, given this late chance to win a place in the 22 for Spain. Ray Clemence is back in goal to push forward his credentials against those of Peter Shilton, and otherwise it's very much the England side expected to face France on June the 16th in Bilbao, although Brian Robson plays today despite a poisoned toe. The officials today are all from the Soviet Union. Referee Romualdas Juszka. Finland play in white, so England have changed to red shirts and white shorts. And there is some English support here, who are cheering the names of the players as they're read out over the public address. The Finns very pleased to see that Kevin Keegan did make it in the party here after they'd read that he'd come off injured at Hampden Park on Saturday. And it's Finland who kick off, starting the last 90 minutes of competitive football of England before the World Cup. England coming here with those 5 successive victories without conceding a goal. Unbeaten, in fact, since their last visit to Scandinavia when they went down to that catastrophic defeat in Norway. The ball just running away from Trevor Brooking. The Finnish season, in fact, only started in April. They've played once this season, and that also was in Norway, where they drew 1 goal apiece. Ray Wilkins wearing number 11. And here's Ken Sansom. Robson and Keegan in at the near post and put behind by Ikalainen in a desperate moment for Finland. Robson showing the aggression and driving in the cross. So England's first corner to be taken by Trevor Brooking. And it will be a corner again. Off Ikalainen again. And Brooking making the journey across to take it. Alvin Martin well forward, you can see the number 5. This time Brooking looks to curl it in with the left foot. Wilkins will collect. Finland push out. Clemence, who kept goal here 6 years ago. And Phil Thompson also played in the World Cup qualifier here that England won 4-1. Jack Charlton, what are you looking for from the England performance tonight?
Well, I'm a bit worried at the moment about the state of the pitch because the grass is very long and the passes tend to be, the ball tends to travel very slowly, and I think England would have preferred a much faster surface to have a real go at this team because they are a bit square at the back and there is room down the sides to play, and we've already got in once and nearly scored a goal. I would like to see the midfield really get through 90 minutes of real football.
Moment there of some danger for England, ending when Mills drives the ball against Nieminen and it rebounds for the goal kick. But it must be said that England very much the favourites here. Alvin Martin. Robson coming short for Sansom, leaving space behind him that Keegan filled, and he was fouled by Aki Lahtinen, who seems to be doing a man-for-man marking job on Keegan, and the two involved there. Thompson, return from Brooking against Turunen, the header from Ikalainen. Here's Steve Coppell. The 1-2 with Wilkins. Who can play it in low. Ismail. Finland with 3 out-and-out attackers named in their side. But it breaks here for Brooking. And back for Finland by Hannu Turunen. He collects it again and was looking for those breaking to his left. In the end, it was easy for Mick Mills. Sansom. Good movement ahead of him between Keegan and Mariner, and it was aimed in Keegan's direction. But the sweeper, Ikalainen, there to tidy it up. Pertti Alaya, the goalkeeper for Finland, who plays for Malmo in Sweden. Mills. Here's Wilkins. Mills making a long run ahead of Phil Thompson, but unable to control when the pass arrived. Touched off by Ismail. Ikalainen again, the captain. An aimless ball forward. Certainly England have built up a lot of confidence in the way the games have gone in their run into the World Cup finals. Sansom was harassed by Turunen, but now Robson, the touch from Keegan, but Robson looked to collect. Finland at the moment finding no way forward. Robson. Wilkins. Laid off by Brooking. Wilkins was looking again for Keegan. Now Martin. And the Finns have given him space. The referee sufficiently impressed as Paul Mariner went down to award England the free kick.
Now there's pretty well stranded man-to-man marking back there in the Finnish defence. And there's a lot of movement from the England players. They're shifting around quite nicely up there. It worries me that the ball isn't travelling as quick as it should, though.
Here's Sansom trying to make it travel, and it took a deflection. And Delia diving to his left to prevent the corner as Sansom shot. Over their past few matches, England have had some reward from their set-piece work. They scored from a corner at Hampden on Saturday. One remembers the goal against Wales from a free kick scored by Trevor Francis. Sansom back. Ismail brought down by Wilkins. Finland have already taken the free kick, and here's Rautiainen. As Jack says, the players having problem with this well-grass pitch. Here's Mariner. Paul Mariner with 3 goals in his last 3 appearances for England. But beaten there by Gronskog. Keegan, Lartin in the shadow, and winning the ball unfairly to his own disappointment. Keegan taking the free kick quickly himself for Brooking. Himanka. Now Rautiainen. Ismail. Cross that drifts behind. On that occasion, Finland got men forward quickly as Atik Ismail, who's born in Finland but of Turkish parentage, found a yard on the Finnish right, but couldn't deliver the cross with men arriving in the middle. Robson. Looking to take on Rautiainen. Who draws applause for his work. Pasi Rautiainen, just 20.
One of the things England are going to have to watch is the breaks that are made on them, because they've got some good runners, and they'll push people forward very quickly on the break. Whether they're accurate enough for the passing may be England's saviour at times, but they are a bit square England at the moment, and they could have got caught had better passing been made.
Now Brooking. Rautiainen trying to get back at him. And Turunen taking it from Coppell. And it's almost presented back to England. But in the end, the feet were high by Steve Coppell. Just after 7 o'clock in the evening here, local time. And the shadows beginning to lengthen, which doesn't make it all that easy for the cameramen of Finnish television. We apologise if the pictures aren't quite up to scratch. Gronskog across in front of Mariner. Played off cleverly by Ismail to Niemanen. But Martin should win this race against Atik Ismail. A little burst from the Finns, enough to encourage the crowd. Football isn't the #1 sport here in Finland. That's athletics. Robson. Mariner being marked man for man by Granskog. It's England's throw. Whipped in by Brooking for Keegan. And the header was mistimed, although the linesman on the far side was flagging for offside. Kevin Keegan with 2 goals on this ground 6 years ago for England. Skidding off the head of Nieminen. Here's Phil Thompson. Now Sansom. England being given time to build from the back. Robson. The movement important for England, particularly to try and free themselves of this basic man-for-man marking that the Finns are using. And now Brooking. Can he get his shot in? He can. And it's just turned away as Mariner looks for the rebound. Turunen got there first for Finland. And the save from Alaya from Trevor Brooking.
It's interesting where they're using Trevor Brooking, actually. He's been given virtually a free role, and he's making runs to inside right, and particularly down the left-hand side of the field, and he's doing it very effectively as well. Looks good in the park.
Wilkins off balance, but stabbing forward a pass that reaches Coppell. Keegan. Lahtinen nudging him in the back. Keegan going down, Brooking taking it up, as the referee was well placed to decide initially that there was no foul by Lahtinen on Keegan, and then to give England the corner. Which Brooking will take. And Mariner. Paul Mariner. From Brooking's corner.
I think the sun had a lot to do with that goal there. It seemed to hang in the air, and all the Finnish defenders stood around watching it. And it left Mariner to jump in here. I think he was the only one who had a clear sight of it. The sun is coming through on that side, as you can see, and it was a very awkward cross. Here it goes. You can see the way they all duck out from under it, and only leaves Mariner to run in on the ball. The defenders facing the ball would have the problem. Mariner running in towards the goal was a different angle, so you'll probably see it better. You'll see it here. In fact, he was running away from the ball. But a good goal.
England in front, Jack, with 14 minutes gone, and Paul Mariner scoring in his 4th successive game for England. And you have to go back to 1963 to find an equivalent feat when Bobby Charlton accomplished it. And here's Martin, and it's just the start that England wanted. Not the most powerful header that Paul Mariner's ever struck, but it was certainly effective, with Steve Coppell in there masking the goalkeeper as well. And now Robson, but offside. Ismail is the Finnish player forward. Wilkins. Now Phil Thompson. And it was just played behind the run of Coppell. But England very much in control. And they've left Coppell here. And his control couldn't make use of the yard that he'd been given. So England picking up another goal from a set piece. Wilkins. Played off by Keegan. Now Robson. Look at the room allowed to Brooking. Keegan going near post. Mariner beyond the far post, and the cross was too long for him. Mills. This is Coppell. Pekkanen, the defender. Ikalainen. Ismail. Forward from Himanka. This is Rautiainen. And a clean piece of work from Alvin Martin, which will have boosted his confidence. Keegan. Now Brooking. Thought about returning it in Keegan's direction. It may still go that way. Wilkins. And Alaya having to be sharp off his line to beat Paul Mariner to a rather tentative back pass from Ikalainen. Ismail. Ismail, who is playing on his home ground. His club HJK Helsinki.
That's the first time we've seen Ismail on the left-hand side of the field. He's a natural left footer, and he spent most of the first up to now on the right-hand side of the field.
On England's left, it's Ken Sansom. And now Robson. Bending it in to Keegan, looking for Sansom, who was offside.
Well, the England performance is very, very good at the moment. We're finding a lot of space. Keegan's going to take a lot of hammer tonight because the boy's sticking to him like glue, and he's tackling him from the back. And Clemence he might be a bit lucky to get through without an injury in this match, because he's taking some stick there. But the midfield runners from England are doing an excellent job, getting into some good space.
Rautiainen for Finland. Harris by Martin. It broke for Hannu Turunen here. And it was Ray Wilkins as Rautiainen had got behind Alvin Martin. Lahtinen is the long throw expert for the Finns. Ikalainen and Gronskog have come forward. Goes towards Ikalainen. And it's a corner, with Paul Mariner back there for England. Ismail with that left foot that Jack was mentioning is coming across to take the corner. And the problem of the sun now belongs to Ray Clemence, but he makes light of it and uses the ball well too for Coppell. Only Wilkins in close support. And now Robson. Coppell again. Mills having to scurry, but able to find Martin. Touched off by Brooking. And here's Robson. Brooking's made the run again and timed it well too. It needs the cross for England, but it couldn't reach Keegan. But Trevor Brooking, with all those family connections here in Finland, certainly starting in the manner that he would have liked to. And with 20 minutes gone, a reminder that the score here in Helsinki is Finland 0, England 1. Ismail, Rautiainen. It was Coppell who slid in and gave away the free kick. Pasi Rautiainen, who moved to Bayern Munich initially from Finland, and on to Werder Bremen. Won by Coppell with the use of the hand from Kai Haskeby. Pekkanen. And forced back by Coppell. The crowd not appreciating it. An easy one for Thompson to pull down. Finland's record, to put their international team in some sort of context, is only 6 wins in their last 37 games. And those wins include victories over countries like Bahrain and Bermuda. They haven't won against what one might term a senior international side since they beat Hungary almost 4 years ago here. Thompson. Brooking not allowed to settle on that occasion, but here's Robson. And Keegan again getting tackled from behind by Rautiainen. This is Turunen. Nieminen being encouraged by the crowd to quicken the tempo. Haskeby. And Brooking's turn, and then he was fouled after the ball had gone by Pekkanen.
This is why countries like Sweden and Finland and Norway aren't really top-class international countries, because they always lack the final pass when things get tight, as there, slowing it down at the wrong time instead of keeping the goal going free. And of course, in the England defence, no problems at all.
Sansom getting forward, but it's Finland's throw. One for them by Himanka. A long ball from goalkeeper Alaya, tailor-made for Martin. But now Ismail. Trying to measure the pass for Himanka. Sansom easily able to intercept. And this is Nieminen, who scored against England at Wembley in 1976. He was the only survivor from that game, which England only won 2-1. And in no small measure, it contributed to our failure to qualify for the 1978 World Cup finals, when Italy pipped us on goal difference. Keegan, unperturbed by the attention he's been getting from Rautiainen. Nevertheless, is given the throw. Nieminen. This is Ikalainen. Haskeby. Blocked by Phil Thompson. Wasn't the easiest of balls for Martin to control. Pekkanen brought down by Mariner after he played the ball. Free kick given to Finland. Here's Pekkanen. Martin up well. Wilkins almost caught in a dangerous area, 10 yards outside his own penalty box. Rautiainen for Finland. Minutes of the first half remaining. Sansom. Wilkins given time and opportunity to pick the pass. It's to the run of Brooking. Now Coppell. Keegan and Mariner in the middle, joined by Robson. Keegan up well, but couldn't quite angle Another knockback in Robson's direction. Haskavy. Or Himanka. Haskavy quickly up in support. But Sansom was there as well. Kai Haskavy, who's been defying jet lag to play in this game. Having played for Edmonton Drillers in Tampa Bay, in Florida, for the weekend. It's a corner, but Brooking settled for. The sun, again, could be a significant factor here. And can Keegan turn it in? Martin again. And Brian Robson got the final touch.
Well, that could have been a goal from the header, of course. But Brian Robson's left foot volley was no danger. I think that they appealed because I think he had his foot up to volley the ball. You know, how hard do you have to put your foot? But it's a goal that England really needed, because now anything can happen in this game, and the score could be anything. But a good corner here again. A free header coming in, which I thought might have gone over the line, and I think Kevin did as well. But he got it off. But Brian Robson's volley left no doubt at all where this one was going.
Martin playing it back for Robson.
And goal, in you go. 2-0 and well worth it.
2-0 after 28 minutes. It was Robson, in fact, who had the initial header, but Robson who claimed the goal with the volley. And England striking twice from left-wing corners. Himanka. Foul by Wilkins. So what can Finland muster here? Rautiainen, the number 8, is usually involved in their set pieces. Nieminen is there as well. And the number 4, Granskog. Nieminen is number 11. And it's Rautiainen who strikes it, but couldn't keep the ball down.
Rautiainen was going to have a job there to keep that one down, actually, because on this, with the grass as long as it is, and it was a long way out to try a shot which was bending and swerving, because he was going to cause Ray Clemence no problems at all with that one, even if he had hit the goals with it. There was no power in it at all. That's probably the only chance they'll get this half, because they don't look a team at all, the Finns, coming forward. There's not a player among them that you would pick out and say is a threat.
Here's Pekkanen. England, who are looking to show quality in finishing tonight, already have struck twice. Turunen. This is Haskavy for Himanka. Sansom gets back. And Clemence quick to turn defence into attack with Robson. Kai Haskavy, who was involved in the move for Finland. And now Brooking. But not flying by Pekkanen. No foul given. And Pekkanen carrying the ball some 50 yards before finding Himanka. He was tripped by Mick Mills, a little unnecessarily. There was certainly no direct threat. Juhani Himanka, who plays for Lillestrøm in Norway. And it's Turunen, who had to hit it first time, really.
That, in fact, was a very good corner. He bent the ball in quite a bit when he played that one in there, and it came in with a bit of pace on in among a lot of players, and it was the one who got the header first. Unfortunately, it was an English player. But that was really a good chance there, because it did cause a few problems for the England team there.
The onus really now on England is to keep their concentration going and to maintain the level of performance that they've given us in this opening half an hour. Turunen. Here's Ismail. Manka looked offside, but the linesman's flag stayed down. It was Robson who shepherded the ball back to Clemence. Ismail. Turunen at full stretch and unable to keep the ball in play. Some of those English supporters have been travelling since last Friday by sea and land to make their way here to Helsinki. And they'll be very pleased with what they've seen so far. Thompson. Touch from Wilkins. Mariner almost in on the back pass from Nikolainen. Here's Rautiainen. No real route forward for the Finns. But Rautiainen maintaining possession until he was fouled by Robson. Ismail beaten by Thompson. And Pekkanen getting a head in. Here's Nieminen and Ismail. Now that was a chance. Not so much the second effort, but when the ball fell from a very intelligent header indeed from Nieminen onto the stronger left foot of Atik Ismail, he completely missed his kick, Jack.
Well, I put that all down to Mick Mills, actually, because he anticipated that the player would come over the top. As this ball goes up, he stands. It fell nicely for him there. That could have been a goal, but before that, when it fell to Mills, he let the ball, he didn't challenge for the ball here, he just let the fella head it across the goals, and it was a mistake. You can't let people head balls into that area. It caught all the England team flat-footed there for a while, and we were lucky to get away with that one.
Back from Thompson. I know, Jack, on Saturday at Hampden Park, you weren't pleased with the way England played over the entire 90 minutes.
And I'm worried about this game happening the same way, but Brooking's still making these runs up front, and he's the one really that's dictating the way England play. The man-to-man markers are sticking with their main still, but Brooking is the one that's finding the space. And as long as he keeps making the runs forward, I think England will keep pressing. But if he stops and starts just drifting into midfield, then I think the game might die a death on us now.
Keegan, and it drops here for Brooking. Rautiainen. Haskavy. And Haskavy and Ismail. Breakdown in communications between the two there that brought possession back for England. It's maintained by Robson's back pass, which wasn't appreciated by the crowd here. A reminder that this is a celebration game for the Finnish Football Association, celebrating 75 years. Robson slipping and still getting time, which says quite a lot about the tempo of this game. Martin. Wilkins. Flick from Keegan, now Robson. Keegan was looking for Wilkins, finding him with a pass that made him check a little. Sansom looking to supply the early cross. Sansom again. For Brooking, and now for Keegan. He became the filling in a sandwich there. But Finland came away with the ball, and no foul was given. And Keegan a little slow picking himself up. May react a little quicker now as Brooking turns it in, but Kevin Keegan still feeling the effects of that bang a moment or two earlier. Thompson. Corner. Linesman on the near side, judging that the whole of the ball had crossed the line from Phil Thompson's back pass. Thompson pointing in the direction of the linesman. Rautiainen will take the corner. Askeby coming off the near post. Himanka there as well. And Clemence catching cleanly and throwing cleanly for Wilkins. Coppell to his right. Mariner now waiting in the middle. Wilkins again, and Mills is offside.
I'm a little concerned in this game about little Stevie Coppell out there. He seems to have got into a habit now of just coming deep, stopping balls and laying them for other people. He's well capable of taking people on, and he's getting a little bit of room out there, and I'd like to see him be a little bit more positive in his attitude and go and have a go at people.
Well, there was a positive run there from Rautiainen, which ended when he was sent flying. And Finland have already taken the free kick. Turunen. Finns have 4 waiting in the middle. Sansom denies them the opportunity to play in the cross. But Lahtinen wants to take the long throw as the scoreline is confirmed with some 7 minutes of the first half remaining. England leading 2-0 and having to defend here. Ismail. And a brilliant save from Clemence. The shot from Ismail from the edge of the area.
Well, that's the first one Ismail's had on his left foot, and we said he was a left-sided player. And this ball breaks very, very nicely for him, if you look. When it comes out, it falls right onto his left foot beautifully, and he strikes a marvellous ball. It's a terrific save. Terrific.
Meanwhile, Clemence has punched the corner away to safety.
That, in fact, was another one of those very bent in-swinging corner kicks with a bit of pace on, and they take a lot of getting rid of. It's a good header out, but it didn't get out to the 18-yard box. Or just.
Thompson. Just laying it off again, and Wilkins looking down at the pitch after miscuing the pass. Ismail, who really did produce a fine save from Ray Clemence. There has been a slight feeling recently that Peter Shilton is leading the race between the 2 senior England goalkeepers. Ray Clemence producing World Cup form then. It's out of play to the displeasure of the Finnish supporters. Nieminen, the guilty player. Sansom. Now Brian Robson. Handicapped, as I was saying at the start, by this poisoned toe, but making light of it. Coppell. Can he take on Pekkanen here? He fires in a low cross. It was just ahead of Brooking at the near post. And Coppell has it back from Pekkanen's mistake. Wilkins. Now Brooking. Coppell again, looking to get behind Finland. Keegan, 3-0. No, the referee has spotted the flag for offside.
I think you'll find here that he gave Mariner offside, who was stood at the far post when the cross actually came in. But Keegan's was a positive run to the ball, so I couldn't really see Keegan being offside. Mariner maybe, but the ball was played in pretty square, so I think England can find themselves unlucky not to be 3 up.
And here's Robson. Ismail favouring the left foot again. Haskeby. Anker trying to shrug off Martin. Newman is in the middle. And a corner off Ken Sansom. Turunen leaving it for Ismail. Clemence just getting there in front of Himanka. Nikolainen curving it back in. Sansom's header out. Ronskog striking it. Rautiainen unable to keep it in play. Clemence collecting the ball there just beneath our commentary position, which is right in the right-hand corner, which doesn't make it absolutely easy for Jack and I to spot the events down at the far end to the left. Here's Thompson. Now Robson. Down between Brooking and Keegan, allowing Lahtinen to take it forward. And now Himanka. England certainly with numbers to pressurise Himanka. And no foul. And Sansom beaten as much by the pitch as anything. Into the final minute of normal time at the end of this first half.
One of the faults we said might happen at the beginning of the game is 2-0 up now. England have dropped the pace of it, and everybody wants to do a little bit on the ball, and it's not travelling as quick as it would, especially on a surface like this. You must keep it one touch as often as you can. It keeps the ball moving, it keeps it in play.
Lahtinen with the long throw. Nikolainen flicking it on, out from Thompson, and then from Wilkins. And maybe a last break in this half here from England, with Mariner, and Keegan is onside here. He's got no support, he's got to do it on his own, Keegan, but he fails to hit the target.
It was unfortunate that Kevin had a really good alone there. He didn't really want to go in on that angle for a shot. He wanted to run to the angle and play the ball across for someone else. But there was no one got there. I think Wilkins tried, but he didn't quite make it. And Kevin was left to try and hit a ball running very fast on a bumpy ground, and that's a difficult thing to do.
Martin's header, as indeed the whistle goes for half-time. A satisfactory first half for England here in Helsinki. The goals from Paul Mariner after 14 minutes, Brian Robson after 28 minutes. So England leading 2-0 at half-time. We'll take a break now. Join us again for the second half.
welcome back to International Football Special. England looked like maintaining that 100% record against Finland, having won all 5 encounters against them since 1937. Really, that's incidental. It's the manner in which they're winning that is important. So, if you've just arrived home from work, England are leading Finland by 2-0, and we can look back on that first half now and see how that lead was achieved.
And now Brooking. Can he get his shot in? He can. And it's just turned away as Mariner looks for the rebound. Turunen got there first for Finland. And Mariner. Paul Mariner. The sun again could be a significant factor here. And can Keegan turn it in? Martin again. And Brian Robson got the final touch. Ismail beaten by Thompson. And Pekkanen getting a head in. Here's Nieminen and Ismail. Now that was a chance. Ismail. And a brilliant save from Clemence. Coppell again. Looking to get behind Finland. Keegan! 3-0. No, the referee has spotted the flag for offside.
So watching those highlights and the first half, our 2 experts, Ron Atkinson and John Bond, let's get their impressions of the play and the England play. Ron, first of all, you.
Well, for half an hour, it's very, very comfortable. We do what we wanted to. We've taken an early lead, and then we've scored again, which obviously is not going to be bad for us. And then I was a little bit disturbed about, in the last quarter of an hour, the way we sat off the game a little bit and allowed those to come back into it. Now, I would feel against good quality opposition, we could get punished for that, and I would think that Ron Greenwood and Don Howe would be a little bit disturbed the way we've allowed the opposition back into it. But overall, yeah, a satisfactory performance.
John?
Well, I wasn't happy for the first 10 minutes because we were playing all our stuff in front of their defence and weren't getting behind them at all. Then all of a sudden, Trevor Brooking got to the byline and we nearly scored very early on with Trevor Brooking getting to the byline, but then we made an early run from the middle of the park and began to get in behind them, and we began to look a lot more positive, and things may happen for us then. But I believe that against better opposition, if we continue to play the way we're playing at this moment in time, we'll get nowhere. And Ron's thoughts before the match that we'll find goals hard to come by, and I believe that if we don't get our midfield and our backmen getting in behind their defenders a little bit more. We're relying on Mariner, we're relying on Keegan to make all the running for us up front, and our midfield people, apart from Brooking, are not making any runs in.
You were concerned a bit about the Coppell and the Keegan situation, really, and offsides and wide.
Yeah, I think that I would think the England manager must be a bit concerned, because in recent games, Keegan and Coppell, who are going to be 2 of his key front players, probably haven't produced half as much as he would have liked them to, basically because they've been out with injuries and so forth. And I would have liked, particularly towards the latter part of the game when Keegan had the offside goal, I'd like to have seen that stand. It did look as if he was offside, to be fair. I think Jack might be wrong on that. And I would like to have seen him produced right at the end when he got his break, because I think that would have done his confidence the world of good. And he's going to be very, very important to us out in Spain. And I think that's important that he goes out there full of confidence, brimming. Stevie Coppell, as Jack said, has been sort of sitting out on the flank a little bit and passing easy options, taking easy options, giving it to other players to do the business. And it wasn't until late in the game when he actually went past somebody and produced a ball. You know, we nearly saw the value of it. We nearly scored from it.
Well, Jack, I know, is concerned about the fact that England didn't really put up too much pressure in the second half up in Scotland. We'll see what they'll be doing second half against Finland in just a few moments.
Yes, welcome back to the Olympic Stadium. It's the same England side for the second half, no substitutions, but the England players complaining at half-time about that disallowed goal. The particularly Kevin Keegan, who certainly felt that he wasn't offside. So it's still 2-0 to England, who attacked the goal to the right in the second half. And here's Brian Robson. Now Ismail, who produced that one fine shot in the first half that brought an equally fine save from Clemence. Pekkanen was arriving to head the ball back across the goal. And here's Paul Mariner. 9 goals now in this, his 21st international, which really is a fine rate of scoring at this level. Keegan wins the free kick. Lautinen not pleased.
I think the referee's got to get a hold of Lautinen because he is going down into the back of Kevin every time the ball's played to him. I think Kevin's helping him a little bit because he's not knocking balls off very quickly. He's tending to want to stop the ball before he knocks it off, and he's inviting the tackles. I think he's got to play him earlier and move, otherwise he's going to get himself hurt.
Brooking's cross, looking for the height of Mariner, who was pushing as he jumped on Granskog. Nieminen. Robson showing too much strength in the tackle. And now Coppell, brought down by Pasi Rautiainen. Wilkins with the free kick. Keegan with a touch-off that was aimed for Mariner. Nikolainen, the sweeper, who has come forward whenever he can. And Turunen getting behind Thompson. And it might reach Nieminen, who then wastes what was a very good opportunity indeed to play in a telling cross. 31 years old, Jyrki Nieminen. His 33rd cap for Finland tonight. Jack, but he was given a lot of room there in that Finland break.
Well, it was an overlap situation, and he actually got caught with it. Too much time on the ball. If he had had to do it quickly, he'd have probably done it right. But he had enough time to stop the ball, and then he let the player come a little bit closer to him than he should have done. And he took his eye off the ball altogether and just made a mess of it. But it was a good chance for the Finns, and it was the first time we've seen any real break down the right-hand side where we've exposed one of our centre-halves to a bit of pace. And unfortunately, we didn't succeed with it. The boy went away from him.
It was Turunen who got away from Phil Thompson, in fact. And here's Wilkins as England look to move forward again. Robson. Keegan showing ahead of Thompson and Mariner too. This is Wilkins. And now Keegan, can he turn? Well, they've let him set it on the left foot. It was blocked by Pekkanen, who stayed down. And now Brooking can take it up for England. Muscovy comes out on top though. Here's Pekkanen, who blocked the shot from Keegan initially. And now has the chance to get some attention.
Kevin's going back down there to have a look at him. And Kevin doesn't look happy in this game. He's not relishing the tackles he's getting from the back. He doesn't look too sharp. And it is unfortunate that his goal was written off, because that was probably the one time he did actually use a bit of acceleration to get to a ball and score a goal, and had it written off. But he doesn't look happy with his game at all. The pattern of the game really is settled down now in this second half, where the England back four and the midfield are spending a little bit too much time on the ball, and they're prepared to play the ball square and backwards, and no one's prepared to knock the ball for the runner, because there aren't any runners going forward. Even Brooking has stopped running forward in this first 5 minutes now.
Play restarting with the drop ball. Just on the theme of Kevin Keegan, he hasn't completed a full 90 minutes for England since the match against Northern Ireland in February. Thompson. Keegan, this time guilty of the infringement himself on Lautinen. Back from Nikolainen. Reminder, if you just switched on, that England are leading here in Helsinki by 2-0. The scorers Paul Mariner after 14 minutes, Brian Robson after 28. Nieminen. Rautiainen, feeling that he was being closed down quickly and passing back from the halfway line. Rautiainen across. And at the moment, the Finns allowed to settle to their own tempo. Turunen. Imanka. He likes to run at defenders. He's faced by Sansom. Imanka going on, twisting and turning. He's still got Sansom to beat, but he has produced the corner. The Finnish coach, Martti Kusala, with the glasses. He watched England play Holland at Wembley last week. Ismail then with the corner. And it struck deep, too deep for Finland, and it passes behind for a goal kick. England played here, as we were saying earlier, 6 years ago, and also in 1966. The guests of honour are the Finnish president in the centre of the picture there, Mauno Koivisto. And Alaya having to come out to deny Wilkins. He was chasing a long ball that caught Finland square. I was saying that England were here just before the World Cup in 1966. And the first game then of their warm-up tour. And they won 3-0. And one of the scorers that day was a certain Jay Charlton.
A brilliant goal, I might tell you. The third one, though.
Here's Wilkins, the running from Keegan. Taking on Rautiainen this time. Brooking's in the middle, so too is Mariner and Coppell, who had to check. Thompson, Wilkins first time. Brooking is onside. He needs to pick one out in the middle, and all he picks out is the head of Hannu Turunen.
That was exactly where you should play the ball from that situation. And all the England players ran into the 6-yard box and stood still, and left him to chip a ball outside the far post, where if anyone had gone to, it would have picked a spot. In fact, nobody went there, they all stood still. There's sort of a lethargy crept into the England game at the moment. They're not sharp at all.
It's Brooking's corner. Robson up, but Alaya up as well. Now Turunen. Coppell tackling back. And it's 3 against 3 at the moment. Coppell making it 4 in England's favour. Mariner was pushing on Pekkanen. So here's the Finland captain, Rautiainen. Rautiainen. Nudge from behind by Ray Wilkins. Finland take the free kick quickly. Put out by Sansom. And Finland make their first substitution. Ari Valve, who's a winger, and who's not 100% fit, comes on for Nieminen, who was doubtful at the start with trouble with blisters. And Valve, who has that left thigh strapped, is the first of the substitutes permitted. Being a friendly international, the regulations tonight are 3 substitutes plus the goalkeeper. Robson, England, in fact, given the free kick, it seems, for a little nudge on Robson. Wilkins. Keegan and Rautiainen. Well, it's a free kick against Keegan again, and the frustration shows. Rautiainen, who only played a handful of First Division games for Notts County this season, starting a 5-year contract at Meadow Lane. But here's Brooking, trying to turn Ikalainen and swinging in the cross well. Keegan trying to help it on for Mariner, then Sansom, and now Coppell. Looking for Mills arriving. But Pekkanen winning the little battle between the two full-backs. Well, he's throwing a dummy or two, but he's still to extricate himself. He does with the help of Valve. Rautiainen almost caught, and then Haskevy. And finally, it is Mills, ironically, who gets it back for England. Coppell withstanding the foul by Rautiainen. The second challenge was fair enough. Himanka. He was aware that Ismail was somewhere to his right, but not that far forward. Touch from Keegan. Pass from Robson. Coppell finding the linesman flagging, and it's a decision that brings a smile from Ron Greenwood. Jeff Hurst to the left as we look, and then Don Howe and Fred Street to Ron Greenwood's left. Ron Greenwood will announce the 22 to go to Spain late tomorrow afternoon. He was telling me before the game that when he returns to London, he's got to make a couple of phone calls to players who won't be involved before he can announce the 22. But here's Valve, and a good covering on the near post by Clemence as Valve whipped it in.
There was a bit of luck in that build-up there, actually. They got a few knockoffs that fell exactly right from it. It wasn't particularly good play, but the boy whipped up a good ball across the goals. I thought Kenny Sansom should have cut his angle down a little bit quicker than he did, because he was the nearest one to it. But it caught us with our pants down a little bit there.
Keegan. Now Robson. And he's left Turunen, and the liar gives Brian Robson England's third. Clear goalkeeping mistake.
It might have been a goalkeeping mistake, but Brian Robson did terrific there, because he picked the ball up in midfield, saw there was space to go into down the right, and went very, very quickly into it. And he struck the ball extremely well. And it was just down at the goalkeeper's right foot. And in fact, would have been a difficult ball for him to hang on to anyway, and the ball could have gone anywhere. In fact, it went in the net. And it should take a bit of the pressure off the England team now.
Here is Robson making that run, but I think Petty Alaya would have expected to save that one 9 times out of 10. And Robson gets his second goal at the moment where I think he's about to be substituted. He's been carrying that damaged toe from the start, but it's some performance to respond even with injury with 2 goals. England now leading 3-0, and we're quarter of an hour into the second half. Wilkins. Blocked by Ikalainen, hammered away by Rautiainen. And Robson is going off, in fact, to be replaced by Graham Rix. Graham Rix, who advanced his claims for Spain with a fine second-half performance against Holland at Wembley. But the applause is for Robson, who has doubled his total of England goals in this game. And Ricks into the action straight away. Kalainen waiting for it to come to him, which could have been dangerous. Wilkins. Just a yard too long for Trevor Brooking. But Jack, I would think the goal coming at a good time for England when they were just beginning to flag at the start of this second half.
Yes, well, the state of the pitch, the grass being as long, it's tempting just to put your foot on it and roll it about when you're needing 2 goals. And we really, I think Ron must have had a word with the midfield at half-time and said, don't leave all the running to Trevor Brooking. Have a go yourself when you see the space, because we've had runs forward from Wilkins and from Robson and less from Brooking, in fact. Although he is certainly the best forward runner we got.
Sansom. Turunen was in with the tackle there, but it was Hannu Turunen who was left by the power and the pace and the aggression of Brian Robson's run. And the Union Jack is waved, with England 3 goals to the good, and with every indication here that there might be more in the offing for those supporters who've made the long journey. Sansom. Whipped in by Ricks, and now Brooking. Still Trevor Brooking. Paul Mariner. Courtesy of Brooking.
That's exactly the thing I said Brooking did before when he clipped the ball back to the far post, and he did exactly that there. And there was Mariner stood to knock in probably the easiest goal you'll ever see. But Brooking is a tremendous player in those positions. He takes a lot of knocking off the ball, and he's such good such vision. Just watch this little chip. It left Mariner in a perfect position just to see what he wanted to do and do it. I hope we get a few chances like that in the World Cup. I don't think we will, but I hope we do.
The unselfishness of Trevor Brooking here for all to see. Others might have tried the direct route. He used the head of Mariner, and it's Finland 0, England 4. And Finland bring on their second substitute, Pauno Kimalainen. And it's Turunen who's gone off. Mariner scoring 17 minutes into the second half, his second goal, and England's 4th. Brooking. Here's Wilkins. Now Rautiainen. Finland have 4 men forward. England have 5 back. Rautiainen, who showed some individual flashes. It's individual touches, really, that Finland are looking for now. Haskivi. Blocked by Sansom. Keegan sent flying. England have the ball with Sansom. Brooking waiting for Coppell to arrive. He in turn has Mills going outside him. Coppell used Mills as a decoy, and the shot was blocked.
I think we should have a word about Paul Mariner, because he's played a very intelligent game in this match. He's led Kevin Feet towards the ball that was going to be played short, and he's gone to the far post and stretched people all the time, and he's taken people away from areas and allowed other people to use the areas like Brooking to run into. And he's got himself in some good positions at the far post, and he's a good challenger on balls in the air. And in fact, you know, he's got 2 goals now. I'd like to see him get his 3rd, because he's taken the chances that have fallen to him, and he's taken them well.
Here's Brooking. And Keegan this time was the decoy, And Trevor Brooking, who doesn't get many goals for England, just inches away from one that his efforts today have deserved. And now England are going to bring on Trevor Francis. And it's Steve Coppell who goes off. So this was Brooking's run. You could see the part played by Keegan off the ball. Brooking a foot or so away.
He's certainly been the outstanding man of the match for me, Brooking. He's a tremendously intelligent player. He's got a great sense of awareness as where people are. He hasn't done a great deal of chasing. He's left that to Wilkins and Robson to pick up in midfield. And he's just sort of picked the runs he wants to make and not bothered about whether he was marking anybody or not.
Well, he's certainly been directly involved in 3 of the 4 England goals. And this is Alvin Martin now. Brooking again. And now Francis. Against Rautiainen. Can Mariner reach it? And Brooking. Well, they were queuing up to apply the final touch. Now Ricks. Stopped by Ikalainen. And Finland are going to substitute their goalkeeper, it seems, as well. Elia, for the moment, remaining in the firing line. Ismail. Rautiainen gets past Thompson and takes on Martin and is brought down on the edge of the area, it seems, as Mick Mills came across on the cover. But a really positive break, Jack, from Pasi Rautiainen.
Yes, he made a nice little run through the middle. He's got a little bit of pace, and we've seen very little of him in the game, in fact. He's tended just to knock balls off. He's not run with them very often like that, but he saw the gap between the two and he went straight for it. And he was a yard short of getting him a penalty.
So Finland substitute their goalkeeper. Olli Huutonen comes on for the last quarter of the game in place of Pertti Elia, who's conceded 4. And Tony Woodcock has come on for Trevor Brooking. So often these friendly internationals end in a welter of substitutions, and it's no difference here. So back to the action, and Ismail got it round the wall, but not round Clemence. Now Woodcock. Ismail coming back to rob him. Thompson. Keegan picks out Ricks. England with 3 substitutes on now. One of them is Woodcock here. The 1-2 with Mariner, or the attempted 1-2. Ismail. Trevor Francis, you can just see in the bottom of your picture there, starting wide on the right since he's come on, in a position that Nottingham Forest used him from time to time. Sansom. Here's Ismail. Now Wilkins to take the fight forward for England again with Mills. And now Francis. Looking for Mills, who covered a lot of ground to get forward. Trevor Francis, who had 1 or 2 problems, I remember, at Hamden on Saturday in keeping his balance. And he's recovered possession here. for Woodcock. Keegan to his left, Woodcock on his stronger left foot. Rautiainen. Rautiainen waited, and didn't see Thompson, and that could be costly for Finland. Keegan, and it was Rautiainen who was caught in the first place, who had the awareness and the discipline to come back to defend.
It seems that Ron's determined to keep Kevin Keegan on at the moment, and Kevin doesn't look really sharp at all, and his passing's become sloppy, and he's not really the Kevin that we know at the moment. I think he could do with maybe a bit more rest, but Ron probably insisting that he gets through the 90 minutes. Other than that, the pattern of England players completely disappeared now. We don't know who's playing where, and in fact it's degenerating now just into an exercise. Rightly so at 4 up though.
As Himanka, who was still full of running for the Finns. Keegan at times now drifting away from the middle. Francis. Coming from deeper positions, at least does give Trevor Francis the chance to come onto the ball from midfield and use his pace, rather than playing further forward where he gets his back to the goal. Haskevy. He flies out tomorrow morning to play in San Diego for Edmonton Drillers. A really cosmopolitan footballer. This is Rautiainen. He's got the pace to get past Sansom.
That was a nice little run again by Rautiainen, and he put himself into a situation where Kenny Sansom doesn't tackle him, you know.
Ismail. A number of these Finnish players were telling me yesterday that they see the game as an opportunity to advertise their wares in the transfer market. And certainly Rautiainen might have won an admirer or two. Pekkanen committed himself but didn't get the ball from Mariner. But Bronskog did from Thompson. Ismail. Here's Haskevy. It's Wilkins who comes out on top. And it just isn't going Kevin Keegan's way. It wasn't his fault at all. Graham Rix mishit the pass, but another chance for the England captain to get possession and get a few confident touches on the ball. Went away through no fault of his own.
The England players have got so much time on the ball, it's become an embarrassment the amount they've got on it. They're taking so many options to have a look and decide what to do with it and take time on it, and it's spoiling the game. Little Rix on the left-hand side was a very good player. Has in fact done nothing with any of the ball he's had at all. He just seems to take too much time and there's nothing positive about him.
Well, Francis looking to play in a positive cross. It drops for Rix, who's beaten by Haskevy. Thompson again. Now Francis. And Keegan is offside, and coming in behind him was Phil Thompson, of all people. And it is a measure of England's superiority that defenders have been getting forward at will without any great danger to England's proud record at the back. Never before in international football have England won 6 games on the trot without conceding a goal in any of them. So they're a quarter of an hour away from a little piece of history here. Woodcock. Past Kymäläinen, who seemed to impede him, and that's the way the referee saw it as well. Woodcock trying to turn Granskog. Ricks. Keegan-Lainen's header. Ranskog. Keegan-Lainen again. Back from Mills. And this is Francis. Taking on Keegan-Lainen, who just did enough to stop Trevor Francis getting any power into his shot. This is Ismail. Valve. Himanka going to the near post, Ismail coming in behind him.
Get in there!
13 minutes remaining. If you've just come in from work, plenty of smiles on the England bench. Brian Robson particularly, with 2 of England's 4 goals to his name before he came off. The other 2 from Paul Mariner. And Wilkins is in the clear, but a late offside decision. Wilkins was aware too that Woodcock was there for a simple goal had he rolled the ball across, had the flag stayed down.
I think if Ron would be looking for anything out of this game now that he's brought on Francis and Woodcock, would be to see them actually get on the ball and see what sort of runs they can make through midfield. Because they're in ideal positions, in the positions that I would have thought that it is best for them. They've both got pace, they both like to take the ball up to people and they like to take them on and running. Let's see them try 1 or 2 of them, just in this last 15 minutes.
Here's Ricks. Rautiainen. And now Haskevy, or Himanka rather. Finland then with a corner. Taken by Ismail. Keegan-Lainen going in strongly. Ricks trying to play his way out for England, helped out by Keegan. And Woodcock being watched closely by Rautiainen, who's Woodcock now getting some of the treatment that Keegan has got through most of this game. Sansom. Well, Ken Sansom will pick his man here. He's picked out Keegan. But the goal still won't come for the England captain.
No, it won't come for him. The linesman actually would have given his goal offside if it had gone in, because Mariner, in fact, had pushed up a little bit too far. But Kevin is not having the best of time at the moment. I'd like to see him score. I really would. Be good for England, especially when they go to Spain.
Peckham. Valve. Certainly not handicapped in his running by a damaged thigh that required the strapping. Himanka. And another corner conceded by Martin. England pulling Mariner back as Keegan-Lainen comes forward. Finland have just caught England lacking a little in concentration with the short corner. Ismail looked to place it when he got past his man, Himanka. And a penalty. Himanka goes down. And the Russian referee has given Finland a penalty.
Well, England have no one to blame but themselves, because a lack of concentration and picking up from that corner kick and laxity allowed the Finns to get into situations that they're never capable of getting into if they'd have concentrated on their business. And they gave a penalty away, which was very dubious, but they've no one to blame but themselves, England. but we're still winning 4-1 even if we score this. It's been a really good performance from England today. We've scored goals, and what more can we expect of them?
Kai Haskavy was practicing his penalties yesterday. He was favouring to put the ball to Clemence's right, to the left as we look. That's the way it goes, and in. And the Finnish supporters have something to cheer with 9 minutes remaining. It's the first goal that England have conceded since they were in Norway last September. The thoroughly competent penalty from Kai Haskavy, and it's Finland 1, England 4.
I feel guilty about that penalty because I saw Ray just before the match, and I should have told him which way, if they did get a penalty, where he would put it, because we watched him do it this morning, didn't we?
And here's Himanka, encouraged by his probing away along the goal line that induced the foul. Rautiainen. The cushioned header was from Thompson. Back from Mills. Ismail. Sansom. Keegan is unmarked through the middle. Haskavy is back to cut out a badly directed ball forward from Sansom. Rautiainen. Wilkins going in strongly. It breaks though for Rautiainen. And England certainly had shown a little complacency towards the end of the second half, and were punished for it in the sense of losing this record of not conceding a goal. Valve produces another corner.
As lax on this one as they were on the last one, they'll give another goal away as well. They tend, when you're forward up, to walk into positions instead of picking them fairly quickly, then have your rest. You tend to have your rest going to them, and that's always a mistake. Do the job right, particularly from dead ball situations.
Rautiainen then with the corner. Touch on from Valve. Mariner looking to break out, but being held back by Keegan, who's 32 years old and has been playing recently as the overage player in Finland's under-21 side. It's only his third full cap. Keegan fouled this time by Ikalainen. Rueful expression from the England captain. Thompson. Haskavy with the throw. Valve has got behind Alvin Martin. Plays in across. They found no teammate up in support for Finland. Mills could deal with it easily. It certainly could have been more threatening. Wilkins. Now Woodcock. Coming away from Keegan. Francis. Picking out Wilkins. England quickening the tempo there, Jack.
Yes, and it was nice to see there was good, quick early balls played, and then a final ball for a good run. And Wilkins was a bit unfortunate there. It could have been a goal, and he could have got a penalty, either one. In fact, that was more of a penalty than the one they got. If you look at it here, the goalkeeper took Wilkins out of the game altogether, never touched the ball. But the ball had already gone past the post, so it was close. But it was a better move. It's the first one Francis has been involved in, actually. He's had a very quiet time.
Here's Mills. Jack, in the last couple of minutes of the game, a quick word on Alvin Martin. Obviously an important afternoon for him.
Well, it's been virtually a non-competitive one. All he's had to do is really pick up at the back on the odd ball and compete for the odd ball in the air. It's not one that you could actually say, well, he is the man for the job. And, well, who knows? I don't have to make a decision. Ron's got to make that decision. It's going to be a difficult one.
It's England's throw. Marti Kusula looks pensive, but I'm sure is pleased that his team has at least scored against England. He was certainly very apprehensive before the game. Francis slipping Pekkonen and accelerating now. Trevor Francis has Woodcock in the middle and Mariner. But Haskavy defending well, showing the benefits of full-time professionalism, Kai Haskavy, in terms of his match fitness. One or two of the other Finns, part-timers in Sweden and Norway and here, beginning to gasp for their breaths now. Haskavy was still full of running, and he denied Francis. Ricks. And here's Wilkins. And Huutonen down well.
There are quite a lot of times when England have got in behind Finland, when really against a quality defence they would never have got there. They would have been played offside, but there's people who have stayed in positions and allowed us to get back there. In like that last situation, we should never have done it. Good defenders would just have picked it up and come and moved out. But the Finns are very slow at that.
Sansom. A 1-2 with Ricks. Sansom hooking it across for Woodcock. Time to try and set up a supporting player who was Thompson. Perhaps one last flourish here from the Finns. Ismail. It's Francis's ball. Spotted Woodcock away to the left. Sansom there in support. Will Thompson camped in the centre-forward position at the moment, but Mariner will provide the header for the hat-trick. Struck just too high for him. Woodcock. Mariner is offside at the moment, but has now been played onside by Keegan coming back. Thompson. Now Mills. Mariner still busy ahead of him. And taking on Pekkonen. And, well, that looked just as much a foul as the one at the other end, from which Finland got their penalty. No strong protest from England. Valve. Making a run at first Mills and then Martin. And that really was a strange episode. Valve was in possession and still managed to foul his opponent, Alvin Martin.
He's a big, strong boy, that when he runs at people, though. And, you know, I wouldn't like to think he was running at me at the back when I'm standing flat-footed like Alvin Martin was there. He just ran into him and took him out of the game.
So England win here in Helsinki by 4-1, just as they did 6 years ago. The same scoreline. Paul Mariner with 2, for England, and the other 2 from Brian Robson, as Finland's president goes away, having been the guest of honour here. For Finland, Kai Haskavy from the penalty. And we're hoping now to get a reaction from Ron Greenwood down by the pitch side. Tomorrow he will name his 22 for the World Cup. And of course all thoughts now turn to the first game in Spain in Bilbao against France on...
Ready to go, stand by. Hand over to Jim.
And Jim Rosenthal is down on the pitch.
Ron Greenwood, thank you for joining us so quickly. Your verdict on tonight's performance?
Well, it was an enjoyable exercise. We scored 4 goals, could have had a lot more. We're a bit disappointed we gave a goal away, but I think it was a dubious penalty. But it was pleasing. We managed to get 3 of the lads on, and that helped a lot, because it's very humid here, so I think we won't get any hotter conditions in Spain.
The final piece is really in the jigsaw for you tonight.
Yes, it's coming to shape. Obviously, we've got a lot of people that we can slip around, and I thought they all did well tonight. And probably we unbalanced the side a little by putting on some extra forwards, but it gave them a run out, and that was the main thing.
A lot of attention back home about the centre-half position. What was your evaluation of Albin Martin's performance tonight?
Albin came through okay. Yes, he had a good game. He hasn't played for a long time, and he's been injured a little, so he was a little rusty, but he began to set shape and come forward very well in the end.
Any other points you'd like to make about the performance?
Well, it was a satisfying performance, wasn't it? Score 4 goals away from home, and possibly we're a bit slack and not scoring more in the second half when we had too much of the play, perhaps.
And now what do you have to do now before you name the 22?
Think.
You must have got it worked out, though, haven't you?
Well, yes, I've got to wait and see till I speak to Bobby when I get back, when we get back tomorrow morning.
And we can expect that about 5 o'clock.
Well, yes, the problem is I want to talk to everybody on the phone before I make an announcement, so it will be around about 5 o'clock, I think.
Well, we're on our way now, aren't we, Ron? What's the mood going to the World Cup finals?
Well, it's nice. We've won now a few more games, and the thing is, the spirit's good, and so we just got to make sure now that we emulate Wales and get a victory over France.
Yes, how important from your point of view was that result last night?
That was interesting. I mean, obviously, Hidalgo wanted to play an English-type side, so he picked Wales, so it'll be interesting to see. We had 2 observers there, Terry Venables and Howard Wilkinson, so they'll be giving us a full report.
Ron, thanks very much for joining us. All the best for Spain.
Thank you. OK, thank you.
So Ron Greenwood, very happy, very satisfied with that performance, a 4-1 win over Finland. Let's get the views now before we finally say goodbye to you of our 2 experts. John Bond, first of all.
I think a very pleasing performance, particularly pleased with Trevor Brooking. I thought he was absolutely magnificent. He showed the important part that he'll play in the World Cup. Disappointed with Kevin Keegan. I hope that he gets his game together before the first game comes round, because he really is out of form at this moment in time. He's got to be put up with this man-to-man marking, this close marking. But overall, I thought a very good performance.
Ron?
Yeah, satisfying, and I would think that the only question marks from that team tonight, I would think, are both the form and the fitness of, as I said at half-time, as Steve Coppell and, as John's just said, Kevin Keegan.
Yeah.
I wonder just how much the injuries they had towards the latter part of the season have affected them.
If you were to select that team for the first match against France, what changes would you make from the one that started tonight?
I would just put Butcher in place of Martin, and put Shilton in goal in place of Clemence. I thought Clemence was magnificent tonight, but I think that Shilton will be in, and I think they're the only changes.
Right. Would you make any changes to that?
Yeah, I'd have the same too. I'd have Shilton and Butcher in the side. I'd bring Philip Neal back in place of McMills, and if he's satisfied, Coppell and Keegan are up to scratch. If he's not, I'd have Huddle and Francis in those positions.
Right. I mean, any other reservations, bearing in mind what we were saying about Keegan and Coppell?
No, I don't think so. I think that Coppell must go, and I think Coppell will play, because if you withdraw Coppell from the right side, we really haven't got anybody who can make that running down that right side. You can't play McDermott on the right side without a wide man outside him, because he can't make those sort of runs then. So I think that you've got to play Coppell. You could bring Devonshire in, I suppose. But.
John, Ron, thank you very much. So England, with a warm-up programme completely for Spain a week today. And ITV's comprehensive coverage of the World Cup finals will start with a special preview a week tomorrow. That's Friday, the 11th of June. Naturally, our thoughts are also with Scotland and Northern Ireland. But today, a very satisfying visit for England to Helsinki with a 4-1 victory over Finland. Thanks to Ron Atkinson, to John Bond, our 2 experts tonight. And from all 3 of us, it's good evening to you. Goodbye.
And Mariner, Paul Mariner be a significant factor here. And can Keegan turn it in? Martin again. And Brian Robson got the final touch. Keegan. Now Robson. And he's left Turunen. And the Lyre gives Brian Robson England's third. Sansom. Whipped in by Rix, and now Brooking. Still Trevor Brooking. Paul Mariner. Courtesy of Brooking.